Greetings, everyone. My name is Buck Business. Konnichiwa. I'm Kawaii Critic, and today we're here to review My Little Pony Season 8, Episode 10, The Break-Up Breakdown. So, we begin this episode seeing that Big Mac-san wants to bake a pie for Hearts and Who's Day. And as he's patiently or unpatiently waiting, Spiky-kun calls out to Discord-san, who wants to play some ogres and oubliettes, or the relative term Dungeons and Dragons, essentially, as he comes over. However, when Spiky-kun explains why he wants him there, Discord-san says how the holiday is just a cheap gimmick to make ponies buy more cards and waste money for Hearts and Hooves Day. So he does eventually agree to magic up a quicker pie. So afterwards, Spike wants to show that Discord is wrong when it comes to love, that is. And explains that Big Mac and Sugar Belle are indeed in love. But Discord claims that he doesn't believe in love, which, at the very second he said that, I knew that was complete and utter nonsense. I mean, you would think a creature of chaos would understand something of the opposite nature, such as love, in order to mess with it in the first place. It doesn't make sense for him to not believe in love. But the episode's writing says otherwise, and it's just off-putting. And I'll get to more of how poorly Discord is handled in this episode a little bit later on. But Spiky-kun thinks that Discord-san apparently has a thing for Fluttershy-san, so that might be a shout-out to a certain Bride of Discord series. I don't know if that's what they were intending to do, but nonetheless, Spiky-kun makes pretty much a losing bet to Discord-san, which again makes no sense. It's as if he heard what Discord-san said and still agreed, even though either the loser or the winner would have to help Discord-san do the entire lawn with just a little picking thing. However, as Big Mac's message gets to the service, it is roughed up, smudging up half of the deliverer's message. Meanwhile, the CMC are starting to decorate. And Sweetable-chan gets the message and thinks it's made out for her. And this B-plot is in all interesting, and to be kind of honest, it actually has a bit more of an impact than the main story. Honestly, I think they could have done an entire episode just on this and kept it separate from the other story. Kind of like what they did with Spiky-kun and the animals back in whatever season that was, where they had a split-off episode between the two things. Again, I think there was enough material there to warrant an episode based off of a moral, by the way, we haven't had before. Instead of getting an episode based off of a moral we've had plenty of time to deal with over and over and over again. We get it, miscommunication's a big deal, and we'll get to that ending in at the end of this review. Anyways, Spike confesses his little poem that mentions rarity but gets cut off, while Discord's still focused on the D&D session, while they see that Sugar Belle has arrived to pick up something or talk about something with Mrs. Cake. So, Spiky-kun gets teleported to Big Mac-san, and then teleports them back once they see that they're heading towards each other. So, Spiky-kun's mentioning some stuff, but then they see that Big Mac's son is coming over officially, so he leaps in to the bushes and overhears Sugar Bell's son mention how all these things about them being finished. In a general sense, her lines are very abrupt and send a direct message to Big Mac's son, even though it is not geared towards him at all. So this leads to Big Mac being upset, and Spike trying to cheer him up. So Discord whiffs them away to the location of that bar we saw when they first played D&D. And he mentions how you could only love yourself, but Spike says that's not possible for the rest of them. Meanwhile, the CMC are on a mission to find out who sent that message to Sweetie Belle Chan. She goes to Snips-san and Snails-san, hoping that they'll actually say no. Scootaloo-chan goes to Buttonmash-kun, and she also asks him in a abrupt way. And Applebloom-chan asks the film photographer pony cult? I don't know his name still. I'm sorry, was it Featherweight-kun? I don't know. Anyway. So, afterwards, Discord brings them to the D&D world to show them this female skeleton, and Big Mac actually goes towards the cutout and talks to it about Sugar Belle. So Discord and Spike see this, and they returned back shortly after. And once they arrive at the barn, this is probably the worst part of the episode. Discord starts messing with Big Mac's emotions, saying that he should break up with her. Are you kidding me? That's not even being a Lord of Chaos, that's just being an asshole. And then Big Mac's-san goes to her, is teleported to her, cuts her off, and then says it's over between them, and runs off. We see him run past all the other couples or potential couples that are in the vicinity, including an obvious Lyra-san and Bonbon-san cameo, with them giving each other gifts, as well as the newer couple that we saw not too long ago with Mudbriar-san, I believe is his name, and his significant other, obviously. Nonetheless, Sweetie Belle starts to think about all the possible quotes that could have possibly sent the message. When Big Mac arrives, he yells at her about not talking or talking too much and how that can potentially hurt. It gets her upset, and everyone in the vicinity becomes upset. This gives Discord a bright idea to suddenly teleport away. So Big Mac's-san chases after Sugar Belle-san to talk to her. And her cart conveniently falls apart, giving him enough time to catch up. He talks. They are able to kiss and make up. Thank goodness for that. So the CMC reunite, and Sweetie Belle-chan eats the pie to see the note wasn't really for her after all. Again, dealing with a much more interesting moral, again, that we haven't seen before, is dealing with moving on from a potential relationship like that. I don't think we've gotten that again, instead of, again, this more obvious to the note of communication is key sort of moral. So, afterwards, Spike talks with Discord about the whole love situation, and Discord says he was apparently the one who broke the wagon, as if that was enough to repay the initial pain that he'd caused in the first place. I still don't think that's enough redemption for him in this episode, to be honest. That was really messed up. Like, beyond what Discord would normally do. It just feels wrong in every potential way. Furthermore, Sugar Bell just sort of spouts out the moral as if it was supposed, not only as if it was supposed to be super obvious, on top of that, it was almost as if it was brushed off and said, yeah, there's the moral. Good for you. Again, this episode has so much potential, but instead of going with a better B plot and doing a moral again we haven't seen before, we get stuck doing this old shtick with at least new characters. So it's not all bad, but still, there's still a lot to be desired here. More or less, it's sort of a middle of the road episode for the both of us. But that is our review of this episode. Stick to Ting Tom Tori! And if you did enjoy this review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, farewell. Bye-bye!